rid of that and put in common homeland. But all of these have definitional issues, I guess you could say, when you're applying them to actual case studies. For instance, common descent within his particular papers that he's written on this isn't that clearly defined. He talks about it in terms of referring to various different case studies, but never actually gives you a definition of what it's supposed to mean. When you look at other various different theories, you see that common descent actually originates with the idea of primordialism. That was kind of, I guess, the first ideas of what makes up ethnicity and the first attempts at anthropological work within case studies and things like that. Common descent was explained in other different theories, such as Ella in 1992 and Gil-White later on in 2010, as having things like language, religion, customs that are similar, and the idea of a myth, a common myth that goes within the actual group itself. Okay, so the application of ordinary language approach within actual case studies. Common descent, I guess you could say you've got cultural characteristics within this particular area. So when you're applying it to the Mulatto identity, you could say, okay, so do they have a common language? Well, when you look at the amount of languages that are actually spoke just on the island of Mulatto itself, there's quite a lot there. Do they have a common religion? Well, I guess you could say that they have a common religion in Christianity. The customs one, though, is very difficult because depending on which particular area of Mulatto you're looking at, if you're looking at the Kwayo region, which is, I guess, the mountain region in the middle is the Kwayo, and then they call them the bush people. Then you have the Solowata people, which I guess would be around the outside. When you're looking at the adoption of Christianity within Mulatto, the Solowata people adopted Christianity much more readily, and their adoption of trade goods and westernised goods, I guess, were much quicker than the people that were in the middle region. So I guess there is a difference in the descent of the particular people as well. But at the same time, you could say, well, they had the Messina movement, which originated in Mulatto, which kind of unites them as a common identity, I guess, as well. Common homeland. Well, when you're looking at Mulatto, as you saw, the province is quite open. You could say, well, is it the actual island of Mulatto that they're referring to, or is it the province? This is very up in the air. When I did my fieldwork in 2011, you asked people, well, does it matter if you're from the province of Mulatto or if you're just from the island of Mulatto? People are very non-committal. They don't really understand whether it's the entire province that you're talking about or whether it's just the island. Because if you're talking about the provincial level, you've also got the outlying areas of Ontom Java and Sikayana, which are Polynesian, which would rule it out as being an ethnicity because it has differences in descent as well, which is one of the key characteristics for being an ethnicity. Okay, so common history, you've got, as I talked about, differences in the adoption of Christianity and the maintenance of custom that came with the accepting of trade goods. However, there's also things like they all had some sort of influence from World War II. So all Mulattans and all Gwales all had some influence